earliest memory of drag racing would be back in the Castlereagh days, obviously when my dad had his. I don't really remember the Red Devil, but I do remember his Altered that he had, and obviously Graham's funny cars that he was racing at the time. I was just a rat bag back then, you know, kicking around the dirt and not really interested that much in the cars, but was part of it. I just remember sitting on the side of the fence there, and a little kid, you know, the fence would have been this high, and chin on the fence just watching the cars go down the racetrack. What I do remember as a kid was being on the start line at the last race at Castlereagh and everyone attacking the start line with axes, and being a kid I had to get the biggest bit and take it home and sit it on the cupboard. It was, you know, this was from Castlereagh, but yeah, it was all about fun back then. Driving Psycho for, you know, my godparents, Graham and Wendy, it's, that car to them means the world. So when you get given that opportunity to drive something like that, you know, it is an honour. They've grown up together and they've done drag racing even before I was born. They'd travelled here, travelled there, and you know, on open trailers, not as lucky as what we are today to have all these big semi-trailers with, you know, race cars in them and lounge rooms and all that sort of stuff. Like they'd done it on a bare budget back in the day, and it's a tribute to everybody, you know, at Rocket and Aeroflow that have made this possible. I do remember sitting down at the dinner table and Dad would always get out the photo albums once I was old enough and I had my licence, and this is what I'd done back then and this is how fast it went. When you drive these cars today and you see what they raced back then, it gives you a whole different respect level for the cars that they raced back then. But the Red Devil back then was a FJ Holden, and yeah, it was Mum and Dad's pride and joy. It started off just as a normal street car, and again, the same as what I did when I was young, he did. You know, it started off, I think, with a 6-cylinder in it, then it got a small box Chev in it with a blower on it, and yeah, it just never ends. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have that drag racing gene in me. I suppose if you're a kid and your dad's a golfer, you're going to want to go play golf, follow your dad, but I was lucky enough to have my dad go drag racing. As a tribute to Dad, you know, like 12 months ago was when we first brought this car out at this event, so it was good to have it there and have him at the race and, you know, see me in the car that he named the Red Devil back in the 70s, so it was pretty good.
The Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Car Circus returns to Sydney Dragway after an epic round at Calder Park, particularly for this man, the dark horse, Paul Massinio. Paul, well done. What an emotional win for you and the team.
Thanks, mate. It was an emotional win. You know, the guys have been working so hard, the whole team, and just, you know, finally get a win after all these years. You know, we've had a win before, but it's taken a while.
Talk us through the event. It wasn't without its hiccups along the way.
Yeah, the first round it sort of shook and had the pedal, and you know, we had Rick on the first round. We know how tough he is, and when I saw him cross that centre line, I thought, cool, we dodged the bullet there.
You can feel a sense of excitement, Paul, with the series, can't you, around the country? Fans are flocking to it.
Oh, it just seems to be getting better and better. You know, the crowd seems to appreciate it. You see the kids; they've got a big smile on their face. We're signing autographs left, right, and centre. It's just, it really is. It's gone from strength to strength.
What gives between you and Beggs? Anthony Begley, you two are like, I don't know, how do you describe it? You describe it for me.
Oh, I don't know, me and Beggs, we're always stirring each other, playing practical tricks, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know, we just get along. It's just one of them things. It's easy to get along with and easy to stir.
You climbed the top of the heap last time. What's the agenda here in Sydney for you?
Mate, we're trying to take another one. That's our aim. You know, we're pretty confident, we're feeling relaxed. You know, we've got all the goods, so hopefully we can get to number one.
So we get set for the second round. Gee, the first round had some monster matchups, and these two have squared off again.
I feel like I should be laying under a palm tree watching that thing.
Drinking out of a coconut. Here comes the Red Devil. Got 3 points over Andrew Cadavadas in the beach bomb last time. He'll try and really double up on this pass.
That doesn't happen very often, does it, where you see these guys match up? consecutively like that.
Well, we've moved recently into, instead of running the fastest versus the slowest guys in the second round, now we do a random draw for both rounds 1 and 2.
Catavatas must have been like, for real? The devil again?
So everyone's had the chance here now to have a look at these track conditions and tune accordingly. There was no doubt that it was a little bit cooler than they were expecting. Now we know where the track is at. I think we'll see some more aggressive clutch tune-ups, should lead to faster times. There goes Michael Marriott in the background, very good tuner for naturally aspirated cars. He's going to avoid your discovery here with his son learning Nitro to help tune the Catavatas family. Here we go, round 2.
Oh,
Bang!
the beach bomb has gone bang. Olive will streak down the line and wrap it up with a 572 at over 403 kilometres an hour.
That was strange. I've never seen that burst panel come off the body like that before without the entire engine going with it. It was still under full power. It's almost like it came off through the sheer shock of going up into tyre smoke. Either way, 3 points to Olive on that one. So he goes through with a perfect 6 and is in contention for a Rocket Trophy later today.
Dark Horse proving he can be exactly that after our Calder Park round, the previous round in Victoria. And he's constantly in a source and sense of Movember. Here's Massinio with that dirty big Mo. Very chopper, isn't it?
Now, Wade, both these drivers come into round 2 on just the one solitary point because they both lost in their first round. That doesn't mean that they won't go home without a trophy, but they need to win now to have a chance at a trophy. A win and a loss in rounds 1 and 2 can leave you with an outside shot, maybe finishing third. But with 14 cars here today, I wouldn't be surprised if we've got quite a few drivers that head through on the maximum points later.
You would back Massinio just on current form after the previous round here, but this is the beauty of Aeroflow, Outlaw, Nitro. Funny cars, anything can happen. That's a good light from Donnelly, and he's going to put away Massinio.
Oh, started to wander over to the wall with a hole out the right-hand side, 588. That'll be a beautiful feeling for Dan Donnelly to get 3 points for the Lamartina family. Huge run. Had to drive that thing too in the deep end.
I think
great
Massinio
stuff.
had him, Chad. I think early, he was really going to have to pull out something miraculous to run him down. But in the end, he didn't have to. Justin Walsh comes out up against the Bumblebee. This guy has been on a mission. Donnelly at Calder Park was sensational. Really has been building towards something.
Well, he's just seen his brother pick up a handy chunk of points. As Let's Boogie gets set to make another big run. He missed out on the points earlier, so he'll be very hungry for 3 points in this run.
Cool shot. Not a cloud in the sky here in Sydney. We're just down the road from the world headquarters of Rocket and Aeroflow. Literally, you could almost throw a supercharger belt over to where the business is located in Huntingwood. And certainly this series travels the entire country. Gee, it's a good light for Donnelly. And it's OVER. Donnelly hammers another one home. A 584 at 403 k's an hour.
Man, this young Queenslander is flying this weekend. Huge run. Goes through to the final round on 6 points. And that was impressive.
Reminds you of the old jet pilot scene in Top Gun on the aircraft carrier.
Ready to get into some more round 2 action. Morris McMillan and one bad Kiwi ready. And the Bandit. So, 2 drivers that did pick up the 3 points in today's earlier action.
Now, if McMillan was able to pick up the win here, this will be the first time I can remember he's had 2 consecutive round wins. So this would be a big step up for McMillan in that one bad Kiwi car. The bad news is the Bandit is in good form. So this is a juicy proposition here in Sydney.
So both Olive and Jake Donnelly are on 6 points. And that leaves you in the best position to win. You cannot win the event unless you pick up these round wins nice and early and are on maximum points. Both these drivers know the scenario, just making some adjustments to those wheelie bars. You need them to be at the perfect height because when these cars launch, they will go all the way back and strike that little wheel, which helps to manage the weight of the car.
So much to love about this series. McMillan furthest from camera, Fry closest. The right-hand lane as you look down, the Aeroflow lane against the Rocket lane. Can McMillan bag 2 in a row? With a light like that, he probably can. Good night! The Kiwi can fly! First time that I've seen him do it, back to back, and what a run that was.
Well, one bad Kiwi, one fast Kiwi. He just went 400 clicks and goes through to round 3 on the maximum 6 points. So he'll be feeling absolutely electrified down there in the deep end. It's looking very good for them indeed. Another case of history repeating here.
Yeah, it's very rare that you see this. There's no eliminations as such the way we run this series, so if you're a fan sitting in the stands or here on telly, you get to see every car every time. And Rick Gorsey, this guy is a machine in that Nitro Express car. You very rarely see him get taken care of. Having said that, let me say this. The bloke in the left-hand lane's looking pretty stout as well.
Well, these two put on the quickest side-by-side run in that first round of racing, so glad to see them back again. Gorsey won 570 over the 584 for Schultz in the general. Looking to join the 3 drivers that have already gone through on 6 points, as Graham Cowan says. Little more, little more.
It's very rare you see that, actually, Graham Cowan in a black shirt. On the quarter mile, set to run here at Sydney. He just loves it, doesn't he? Just
very hands-on.
Loves it. It's loud, it's angry, it's violent, and he wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Oh, straight down the middle. Gorsey says good night.
Gee, just opened the door up at the end. Low speed only, I say only 300 kilometres per hour. What happened here for Rick Gorsey? He got the points. Let's have a look here. Oh, it spiked in the RPM. Either really went into wheel spin or maybe could have broken a gearbox and jumped back down to first gear. Very rare that happens, but the way the RPM went up like that, he had no choice but to shut it off. Lucky to go through with the points.
But straight down the middle. I haven't seen a car down the guts like that so far today. So there's that to take from it. The setup and the way the car handled was on the money. Now, Wolford, a disappointing run in the first round, so he needs to step things up. LA Hooker, a chance here to consolidate.
Yeah, Anthony Begley just fell short of getting into the 5s earlier today with a 6.07. These conditions really nice right now.
Yeah, just cooled off a bit now. The dusk in the afternoon here at Sydney Dragway. You're watching the Aeroflow, Outlaw, Nitro, funny cars. Bang onto Facebook. Google them, get across it. There's plenty of amazing images. And the hooker right down the middle as well. Trouble again for Wolford. Hooker runs a 597 at 383 k's an hour. Forget that part of it. There is 3 points, badly needed.
Night has descended upon Sydney Dragway, which means one thing when it comes to the Outlaw Nitro funny car.
Flames, and plenty of them. The General is out there nice and early. Cannavardis has done an excellent job in the beach bomb. Every time we play that, Chad kind of lights up with this sort of Hawaiian sway kind of thing going. Daniel Schultz in the General. And this changes things a bit too. We go into nighttime racing here at Sydney Dragway. And as you said, we now come to the most critical round, the final round. And there's, what, 5 guys can win this deal?
So 5 drivers come into this round on 6 points. We've got a couple that are on 4 points, but unfortunately, both Dan Donnelly and Fry won't be out for this last round of racing here with some engine dramas, but it does leave interesting battles through the field. Both the General and the Beach Bomb, it's not been their night on the scorecards. They come into this one on 2 points each.
Cannavardis just thrilled he's not facing Shane Olive again. Up against Schultz. This would be a pretty even battle, I would think.
Watch for the header flames. As they reach up to the night sky, we're into pre-stage. Full stage, go!
Wow. Wow, wow. As they say, the General is out of there. Roscoe P. Coltrane couldn't catch the General in that one. Good night. Catavatas, unfortunately, has been defused. The bomb didn't go off in that one.
Oh, big speed at the top end. So a good way to finish off the night for Dan Schultz, local boy here. Now we're getting into the action. Once again, let's boogie. The car's getting faster and faster.
Walsh is consistent. If I was going to pick a word for Justin, it would be consistent. It seems to be, if you slip up, he's going to eat you alive. And Messinio certainly on a tear.
Amazingly, another 2 drivers that are stuck on 2 points for the night. Winless in Sydney. Justin Walsh has been on the podium here before. The 6th ever event when Tommy Johnson Jr. got the win at LA Hooker.
Wow. I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to do the backup thing, but I'm too scared I'd stuff it up.
It's actually quite difficult because you're running into the Nitro, so it hits you in the face. You just spend the whole time crying.
How about the fact that your sneakers are being ripped off your feet for that sticky racetrack?
And it's an important job because they're responsible for making sure that the drivers are lined up perfectly in those 2 big licorice strips that they've just laid down. It's the warmest, stickiest part of the racetrack. You need to have those big rear tyres exactly in the right spot.
So we've determined that I won't be doing that. Dark Horse up against Let's Boogie. Final time we'll see these cars tonight at Sydney Dragway for the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars. Yep, down the middle, both candles fully lit, and the Dark Horse takes it a 573, just under 370 k's an hour, and a really difficult drive job for Walsh. That car was boogieing, but not in a good way. Look at that. It was messy.
Lost traction early, Let's Boogie. Did a good job to pedal it and get that thing to hook back up. We have 2 runs left here tonight in Sydney, and all 4 drivers that are involved in these matchups are in contention for the win. We did have 5 drivers coming through on the maximum points, but unfortunately LA Hooker is out of contention here with some dramas. So Anthony Begley not able to fight for the win, which makes the scenarios pretty simple. Whoever gets the wins will be the 2 drivers that finish first and second. Whoever lays down the quickest time out of those will be the winner of the event. It's not enough to just win, Wade. You've got to go fast.
And doesn't that show you just how competitive each time it is when you roll out? The interesting thing here is Gorsey allergic to bees? Because Donnelly has been laying it down. He's got to be brimming with confidence, this guy. Every time he comes out, he knows, doesn't matter who lines up alongside him, they could be running second to him.
The conditions and the scenario is just right for Nitro Express. They've had to change gearboxes in this car after they did break a gearbox and drop back to first gear. But amazing driving from Rick Gorsey. Caught it just before the RPM got too high and shut that car down. The interesting thing about this gearbox, which Graham Cowan's looked over, is it does have a slightly longer gear ratio, or taller gear ratio. So they're not too sure exactly if it's going to get down the quarter mile. If it does, it will be fast though.
For the second round in a row, Donnelly is in with a big chance to take one of those awesome rocket trophies.
I just want to put this out there. This is the 4th event here at Sydney Dragway. The past 3, Rick Gorsey's won 2 of them. He knows how to get down this drag strip. He's done so many passes in the Nitro Express. He's got the experience to get the last 3 points and put a number down that'll be insurmountable for either Shane Olive or Maurice McMillan to beat. Let's see what Graham Cowan's got in store for Rick Gorsey. And can the Bumblebee go one better?
Donnelly cares little for statistics. Gorsey's a big game player. Through the lights.
Here we go. Here we go. Nitro Express is there. Oh, the speed. It's huge. Quickest and fastest ever run from an Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny car. That was wild.
How about the reaction time for both those guys? What, a .09 and a .07 and a personal best for Donnelly.
Yeah, big PB for Donnelly. But for the other car, Nitro Express, we've never seen a car go faster than 260 mile per hour in the old book. Now we've seen one go past that and go 264. Wow.
And that's one of the fastest passes the car's ever made.
57?
57?
PB.
Yeah,
Definitely
PB.
a PB. Yeah, no, that thing was hauling, mate. and we had a little air leak, so I couldn't really punch top if I wanted to anyway, so I held it out as long as I could.
All right, let's stand by and watch Shane Olive as he makes a final pass and see which Chev gets the top spot tonight.
Yeah, well, who else is there?
Just you two.
Oh, really?
Whoever potentially wins out of this one will be the winner of the event.
Ooh, oh geez, there's got to be some stuff going on the shop after this one.
So, got to pick things up as we see McMillan come out. He has actually won 2 consecutive rounds on 2 previous occasions. One of them was at Cairns, so it's been fairly recent. Whether he can make it a clean sweep, okay, I don't think I've seen him do that.
Well, I can confirm that one for you, Wade. He's never done that. Shane Olive's done it on plenty of occasions, and what a 12-month anniversary it would be for this car if it can park it in victory lane tonight. The scenarios now are simple. Whoever wins this race needs to go quicker than the time that Rick Gorsey just laid down, a 5:57. That's very difficult because it'll be the quickest ever time. But the other interesting scenario is, if the loser of this race wants a trophy, they need to go quicker than the 5:70 from Jake Donnelly. So either way, win or lose, go hard, go fast, be quick.
It's still got to be the simple concept of get down the other end better than anybody else, regardless. Hopefully you take care of the guy alongside you and you get that time. McMillan to your left, Olive to your right. This is everything to play for right here.
Remember that number, 5:57. They're both alive. Oh, the noise goes out for Red Devil. McMillan, does he pick his pocket? Not quite.
He run a 50?
Gorsey's waiting.
Now, this has happened to Rick before, hasn't it, at Willowbank?
Yes.
Where he got his pocket picked then.
That was a nervous wait, 5:76. Not enough. Red Devil will get runner-up here today.
It went straight to the centre too, didn't it? He really got out of the sticky stuff, brought it back in. That's where he lost it.
Yeah, burst panels. At half-track, the numbers were looking good. It was going to beat the time of Rick Gorsey, maybe just slightly over-revving it. That's where you get that big flash, that explosion in the supercharger. Hopefully not too much damage, but he'll be second here tonight.
I've got my whole family here this weekend. My wife's here, mum and dad, my sister, the kids, everyone's here this weekend. And how about that black Chev, 5:57, you know, like that was going to be a tough ask to beat. But, you know, for Rocket, for Aeroflow, for Graham Wendy Cowan, that's put this whole event on. What a show.
Out come the amazing Rocket trophies. Third place for Jake Donnelly, another podium. He gets it by just 900ths of a second.
Isn't that a great motorsport rivalry between Gorsey and Olive? Those guys go after it. They're all smiles now. What an amazing event this was.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's show. There's a Swagger Motorsport coming up, and it kicks off at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit next weekend, where the My Bike Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul hosts the opening round of 2020, along with round 1 of the World Superbike Championship. If you love your superbike racing, then head on down to Phillip Island from February 27 to March 1, where it's shaping up to be one of the most competitive seasons to date. Also kicking off next weekend is the opening round of the Australian Motor Racing Series from Winton Motor Raceway. Round 1 is set to be jam-packed with 6 high-quality categories ready to do battle around the tight and technical confines of Winton, headlined by the popular TA2 Muscle Car Series. Tickets are available at the venue, and you can find out more about the Australian Motor Racing Series at amrseries.com.au. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.